TV. Let's do our panel conversation. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. Come on up here, Angela. Here. You want it on the stand or you want to hold it? We can do this on the stand.
Man, it's been a journey this last day and a half. Let's give each other a round of applause for showing up and showing out. I am Angela Thomas. I am the co-hostess of 2 programs, Our Own Voices Live, that I co-host with Mr. Rodney Smith, who's over here on the video for me. And my new baby, my love, back to my roots, Needle on the Record, that I have the pleasure of co-hosting with the lovely Angela Marie. Who's up here? First, I'm going to talk a little bit about me. I'm Angela Thomas. I'm from the windy city called Chicago. Chicago, yes. Yes. I am an alumni of Columbia College where I studied film. And with that degree, I did a lot of independent movies. The biggest of which was Love Jones. I got a chance to participate in that. It's my favorite. And I also, with that education, started my own company. It was a marketing and promotions company for music. I worked with BMG Distribution, and with that company, they gave me the opportunity to put together marketing and promotion campaigns for folks that you know and love today. I started with Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child. Woo! No. Yeah. Was my first hit. It was my first hit. And from the moment they brought the remix to my office, I said, yes, I'm getting ready to go. Let's go. These young girls is ready, they're young. I was just excited. I've always been excited about music. Music is deep, deep, deep in my family history. My uncle played trumpet for Tyrone Davis, and when I was little, my mom took me out to a concert and I was hooked. Everybody in my family had to take instrument. I argued that the voice was the original instrument, so since I articulated that argument so well, they let me study voice. So, with that, I was able to be a background vocalist to Heavy D, Uptown Records. Many of the artists for Uptown Records I did background vocals for and live performances. I worked for Miss Mary J. Blige in the early part of her career, and it was a pleasure. I had a blast. But what most people didn't know about me was that I was a mom at 16, and by the time I was 20, I had 4 children. 3 girls and a boy that I gave birth to. And I was in the midst of a valley at that time. I was in a violent relationship that I needed to get out of. And music, particularly hip-hop music, saved my life. From the background vocal gigs, I met a young man that owned what went on to become a legendary label, Uptown Records, Mr. Andre Harrell. I need to go home with my babies. I couldn't stay on the road. And he said, okay, Angela, what you want to do? And I said, I love the business. I love the business aspect of this business. And I did notice that all my friends who were doing it, they were on the back end. Nobody ever saw their face. So he helped me. He made some phone calls. He interceded for me. He protected me. He guided me. And I just owe a tremendous amount of love, honor, and respect to that young man and the many, 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 many young men and women that came across my path at that time. I then went into artist management, and I managed the careers of songwriters and producers. And I was a part of a team that was among the first to really start to see that songwriters really, particularly songwriters in Black music, needed help. And Kandi Burruss, because of our success with Destiny's Child, with the first single, No, 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 and then with their next project, which, you know, the writing on the wall was really on the wall. It brought us the superstar, the phenom that we know today as Beyonce, and I was very pleased to be a part of that project. So I ended up helping some folks that are pretty notable today. Ms. Kandi Burruss, who is now a housewife of Atlanta, but I knew her as a young woman from Escape who had some writing talent like myself. And she felt that she could take that group of young women, Destiny's Child, to the next level. And so we went about the business of doing that. I also worked with Mr. Kanye West. And trust me, he's always been as vocal as he is today. He was as vocal back then when he was just a youngin' out of the south side of Chicago, straight out of his mama's basement with, you know, a beat machine and a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of talent. So with that, career-wise, I was doing great. But I wouldn't have been able to have many of those experiences if I had not met the love of my life in a den of inequity called the Brothers Palace. I met a young man by the name of Michael, and we got married. I'm giving you guys the abbreviated story, but we did get married, and together we joined and raised 5 wonderful children, one of which, we have 4 daughters and 1 son. Pray for us, please. Pray for us. Anybody with daughters, you know what I'm talking about. But without further ado, we don't normally talk about this in public, but my co-host is also my firstborn, and she's an interesting kid. She is from Chicago. She moved here with us 8 years ago, and then she bounced off to Miami. And I was pissed because she took my grandbaby with her. So she had fun, and now she's back. And she's like, okay, Mom, what are you up to? I'm like, well, you know, I'm sort of doing. She's like, I hate it when you do that. You're going to start your show. And I sort of fussed around with it, and if it wasn't for Rodney and Marie, I call them the dynamic evil twins at times. But they push and pull and help me into my greatness, and I really love them and appreciate them. One is my own blood, but one is my brother from another mother, hailing from New York, but we won't hold that against you. So that wraps up my notes here with me. Needle on the Record is a music program, and it's all about good music. I don't care, country, R&B, whatever. If I think it's good, it goes on the air. I'm really proud of the fact that we are becoming the home to independent artists, here locally as well as across the country. So if you know someone with talent and they want to be highlighted and they want to have a conversation about music, write down, friend, tell me at home, borrow a couple of your index cards. Write down your email and name on the index cards on the table, and, you know, give them to me at the end of the session. Well, today we're here to talk about my most popular segment. I didn't know this at the time, but my love for reality sort of bled into the show. We started the show on 12/12/12, and I kept sort of bringing up reality. Somehow the music bled into reality TV. And so my co-host, in all her wisdom and forethought, she said, you should make this a segment because we got the most comments offline about our exchange on reality TV. Now, as luck would have it, with all my passion and enthusiasm for reality TV and the women in it, I happen to have two co-hosts. I don't know how the universe worked this out, but I have two co-hosts who don't share my passion and enthusiasm. Let's just say, I'm putting it nice. One has even coined it Ratchet TV. Which people text me, they private box me. That is the funniest name. You should forget Reality TV Roundup because that's too PC. You guys should just call it Ratchet TV. And I'm like, no, because, you know, I don't want to take away from the integrity. I got my jacket on, that's right, I said it. Integrity that exists within reality TV and that exists with the women that decide to make this platform a part of their life. I think it's so powerful for women to tell their story, and all of its messed up muck is still powerful, it is still impactful, and it still serves to help somebody in the midnight hour. You will not believe how many women are helped by seeing, what's her name on Love and Hip Hop and Love? Go back and forth with Stevie J. You know who I love with the accent? Jocelyn. She is serving women, believe it or not, with all her sexy fierceness. She is serving women because she's teaching us a value lesson about love and relationships. And my favorite reason for watching reality TV is because it constantly beckons me to deal with a concept called fictive kinship. Fictive kinship is what we've all been participating in today and yesterday. Fictive kinship is a process of letting you relate to someone and be proud of them and celebrate them and their successes. But the pull comes from we got pride on one side, and the flip side to pride is shame. So when we're watching reality TV, we are pulled back and forth with this fictive kinship. On the one hand, we can be proud of some of the shows and some of the women on those shows and some of their accomplishments. On the other hand, we have storylines like Jocelyn that challenge us to stay in there with her and root for her well-being. So when I'm viewing reality TV, I'm thinking about those things. I'm thinking about the social constructs, the historical image of Black women particularly, because we are the leading ladies of reality are mostly Black women. Mimi and the bunch on Atlanta's The Housewives of Atlanta, which I got a special kind of love for all of those women. The women of Love and Hip Hop. They're all first ladies of reality TV. Our classic image here, our historic image here in America as Black women, we have four archetypes. The mammy, we are familiar with the mammy. She's the caregiver, she takes care of everybody. She leaves her home and her children to take care of everyone else's. That character is set in slavery. We almost had a statue erected not far from where the Martin Luther King statue sits today. We almost had one of Mammy erected. I know, that's challenging. Jezebel is the other. The angry black woman, or Sapphire, and the strong black woman, which is the only archetype in the U.S. that black women are responsible for. All of these images of us challenge our country in their understanding of black women and black family and our contributions to this great nation. So that's my 2 cents on why I love reality. So I invite you guys to take part in what's become our favorite segment, Reality TV Roundup, otherwise known as
Ratchet TV.
You gotta say that in the morning.
Ratchet TV Roundup.
Here we go, folks. Today, we were going to have Miss Gloria Govain from Basketball Wives, but she was unable to make it. But we have our very own reality stars here in the city of Las Vegas. And rightfully so, we are the entertainment capital of the world. I present to you Miss Lori Montoya. Joining her is her national makeup artist, Mr. Junior, and help me with this last name, Junior. Renteria. Her creative director, Mr. Felix Eduardo, I'm sorry. For those of you who aren't familiar with Sin City Rules, it was an interesting portrayal. Yes, it was an interesting portrayal of women here in Las Vegas, and it challenged me.
Not at all what I thought it would be.
Not at all what I thought it would be either. It was on TLC, and here we go.
Goes with the women, but right behind the women when the husband's not around, it's their GBF, their gay best friend. So wherever they go,
Here you are.
I'm like the second clone. So
With that fierce eyeliner, I want it. Ms. Montoya and her team are currently developing Blame It on the Rain, a new reality series. So we're going to hear about that as well. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Sin City Rules. And first, tell us what you thought your role was going to be on Sin City Rules.
Well, what I was hired to do was to represent power women in Las Vegas. I owned a makeup company, and they loved the fact that I was up and coming. I took control of what I wanted to do with my destiny, and they really liked that, and they wanted to show power women, successful women in their roles, instead of focusing on men. So when they get all the women together, it changes. Obviously, the dynamics changes. You know, they found that there was a reason for, conflict with other women, so they focused on that. Now, I had several meetings, my husband and I had several meetings with the producer saying, we don't like the direction that it's going. We need to focus on what you said it was. It was success. It's about us. It's about, us elevating ourselves, empowering women. And it really took a back seat to what it was, because they realized that the Housewife brand is so successful that they kind of wanted to piggyback on that. And unfortunately, it didn't show with the editing what we were, who we are, and what we did as a company. And we did some amazing scenes, and I feel really bad that, nobody got to see that, unfortunately.
So often with the edit button.
Editing, yeah.
And so many producers, what a lot of people don't realize is that when you get the green light for a show, meaning a network signs your show and they okay it, there's a little funny business in the contract. And the first right of edit is usually a place where a lot of funny business resides.
Right.
Now, so I can totally, understand and relate to how intention could be one thing, but the edit button does something else.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw, I saw it with everybody else, the first airing of the show, and it started out really good, and I thought, oh my God,
Here we
it
are.
turned out great. The first show was absolutely great. And then the second show, fighting. Third show, talk about the fighting that you fought last week, and let's see if we can have a truce. Okay, if that truce doesn't work, then we're going to have a truce dinner now, and then we're going to fight about that. It was just absolutely ridiculous. Unfortunately, I love the media company. Evolution did a fabulous job. I love the crew, but it was all about what the director thought should be aired. And, I watched it with everybody else, and almost like in horror going, oh my God, no, please don't show that, because there was so much more. I am so much more than fighting, and I pretty much was deemed the peacekeeper.
Absolutely.
And I tried to keep everybody calm. I tried to get everybody back together. And in the end, it was almost redundant. It was almost boring to me to go, okay, we got to do this scene again. So even though it is reality, and we do have free reign of what we're going to say, they kind of fill you in and say, for this scene, we want you to talk about this. Go about it however you want, but we want you to make sure the end result is going to be about this.
Can you talk about the pressure that putting that question like that puts on a young woman in front of the camera? Do what you do it however you do it, but realize the Housewives of Atlanta are getting better ratings than us.
Right.
And this week,
Right.
You know.
We need to step it up. We need to keep up with them. Unfortunately, if I would have had control in how the show was represented, I would have loved to have seen more interaction of who we are first. Get to know us first before you find out that we're all fighting like cats and dogs.
They know who we were. They interviewed us for weeks before individually.
oh, absolutely, that's an
one-on-one.
expensive thing.
One-on-one interviews with everybody. They knew exactly who we were, what we looked like, what we were about. And that's why allegedly they said, you're going to be part of the cast. You're going to be part of the cast. As time went on, they try to put you in a block of that stereotypical character that was going to make all the ingredients for, what's the word we like? Catastrophe. You're going to be the peacemaker because you're going to be not as bold as the other women. You're going to be the villain because you have that look, and we're going to give you the editing to make it look like you're going to be, the witch or the thief. And everybody just got put in this slot.
Yeah.
Whether you were always that way, all you need is 2 seconds of
That's
them
it.
watching you for them to edit it to make you look that's how you are all the time.
Yes, that's
So
it.
that's reality TV.
And the sad thing is that we were doing our own show before we were approached by TLC, and we were almost a go with this other network, Oxygen, for Blame It on the Rain. And TLC presented it like, I promise you, we're going to represent your company. We're a bigger network. We're a bigger network. We're going to represent you as a business owner. We're changing the whole aspect of Housewife brand. And we're like, well, God, that sounds amazing, because that's what we're trying to do right now.
And honestly, that is a part of what the public wants.
I
They want to see more of the
But
reality
people
women.
achieving their goals, isn't that what it's about?
It should be.
You know, and that's why we ended up going with them. I mean, trust me, it's all been a blessing. You know, another fear of mine. I never thought I would be in front of a camera for 4 months at a time. You know, in your face. You know, getting ready, and you know, sometimes barely getting any sleep. It was a lot of fun, a lot of learning experience, and I did it. I faced my fear, just like today. I faced my fear, and you know what? I'm not dead. I handled it, and it's just going to make me grow bigger and stronger. And now I know exactly what I want to do, and nobody else is going to tell me how to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's answer the question posed at the beginning of the description. What do you think is the allure? What do you think is the attraction for the American people to reality TV? Because hate it or love it, it's not going anywhere. Basketball Wives will be coming to a theater near you. Beginning of 2014, she'll be doing them. Shawnee is shooting a movie now. She says that it's going to be more akin to what her original vision was for Basketball Wives. So it is staying and it's getting bigger. So what do you think is the attraction for people? Introduce yourself, because I'm sorry.
I'm Jennifer McConnell. I'm with Venus, .net with the Z. But I think it's all about money. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I think it's all about money, you know, period, and attention. We live in an attention-driven society, and that is really, to me, what it's all about.
In a way, we're voyeurs. We want to see what's going on in other. In a way, we're like almost voyeurs. We want to see what's going on in other people's lives, so you don't have to focus on your own.
Yeah, well, when I first heard about this, I did the research naturally, and when I tried to look at where reality TV started and where it is now, real world. What it really was set out for was to just exploit them and exploit their lives, their personal lives. Everything up until that point was scripted. Now the cameras are, you know, behind the scenes, and we get to see so much raw of people's lives.
Right.
It's just what we choose to expose. And I think this forum here is important because we as women with credentials, meaning if you like something or if you share something, someone else is inclined to like it and share it too. And I think that's why, you know, I really wanted to make it a point to be here for that.
Right.
That's what we have to do. I mean, it's not going to go away like we were saying earlier. There's no way we're going to be able to end reality TV.
Yes, it's too inexpensive to produce. Just as a little sideline, as a person that's been in film and been in the creation of television shows. Reality TV is an answered prayer to networks because it is very inexpensive to produce comparatively to film or a scripted TV show. So,
Everybody wants to be a star. Everybody wants to see their face on television. Or
who was it? Warhol that said everybody can get 15 minutes of fame?
everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame.
He knew about reality TV.
Well, I also think that reality TV, especially in respect of the real world, it gave me a great understanding for things that I would not have been exposed to or educated on otherwise. So I think that other shows attempted to follow that same format, but as they refused to. Well, you had too much frequency ratchet TV, and that's where we are right now. So I think that everyone gravitates towards reality TV because as much as we are annoyed by all the fighting, we understand the bickering. We understand the root of the problem. We understand where the misunderstanding came from. We have advice and an opinion about how that situation has been executed. And then we are then allowed to use that example and apply it to our own lives, either to make it better or make it worse. That's a personal decision. But that's how reality TV is applicable in every individual's life, whether they choose to acknowledge that or not.
Just to add a point to what you're saying, I absolutely agree. I think that the American reality shows, the people who are in it, they're showing raw emotion, and they can empathize to that, and they can empathize to the characters. Because there's been many situations, for example, when we were filming, where even though they were telling us, okay, you guys have to do this, it really wasn't staged. We were doing what we would normally do, but they would just put us under pressure. For example, when we would do a shoot, normally when we do a shoot for Rain Cosmetics, we from the moment of development all the way to the moment of shooting, it would take about 2 weeks for to tell models, to tell makeup artists to prepare, choose a location, get the permits, and they would be like, no, you got 2 days to make this fabulous shoot happen. And so all this stress, all this emotions would just come up, and it feels very real, and the public can see all those raw emotions and they can empathize.
Personally, how has your involvement with reality TV affected your family?
My family?
Yeah.
Well, my mom didn't like it at all. She wanted to call up every newspaper, call up every single person, Robin Leach, Norm Clark, all those guys that she couldn't stand, and said, how dare you? You don't know my daughter, you're so mean. Because people will write what they're going to write. They don't know the truth, they don't know me. And it kind of caused a little bit of, for me, I don't like anybody thinking negative of me, especially if they don't know me. So my first reaction and instinct is to want to call them up or want to say, listen, let me set this record straight. But then I'm thinking, you know what, if I open up that Pandora's box, all they're going to do is write something else. So, you just got to stay true to yourself, and the people who are around me, who know that that's, yeah, so it made me realize who my true friends really are.
Excuse me, not only that, if I can say this,
Yes.
you are from reality TV. One thing I can honestly say that I never see is conflict resolution.
Right.
I think if we start there, I mean, it's inevitable. We know there's going to be drama, there's going to be violence, there's going to be vulgarity, it's all there in our face. We can't hide it from our kids anymore.
No.
And one thing, I want to propose to reality TV, anyone, officials, stars, directors, producers, what happened to our village. And the hardest thing for me to address this crowd right here, whether it be reality or just mainly my community, is who am I going to be talking to? And I thought 9 times out of 10, the women that are in that building are women that raised me, the women in my generation, or, so on and so on. And we have to get back to that.
Right.
Especially now that social media is the new mainstream media.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have so much bargaining power right now with social media. It's insane. So that's my proposal.
But how do we keep it
Conflict
positive?
resolution. Think of positive like no different than reinforcing it with the child. When the child gets in trouble, do you positively reinforce it, or do you continue to negative,
I think
reinforce it in
people
a
are
negative
used
way?
to just be negative because it's easier and it gets more attention.
But that's what I propose to the reality world. That's me. We need more conflict resolution. Let's show each other. Let's show that we can bicker. It's all out there, gossip. The whole ugly, dirty spit. But how do we make it right? That's what I propose that we start showing.
Amen. Let's make it right.
I definitely agree, but I'll use the example, and I'll just go on record as saying that prior to doing me on the record, I did not look at reality TV because I'm young enough to be involved in the drama. If I want to be involved in the drama, I'll just walk in the restaurant, flash a cup of water, and if I walk back and be like, I don't want that. So I didn't watch the show. But I am learning quite a bit from being a viewer. And the last situation that I saw, I think that they're attempting to at least show us that they're involved in conflict resolution. You can use the example of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, Kenya was against the young girl, forgot her name, the one that's getting divorced now. And she had a party at the end of the season. She invited everyone, but then she did something uber mean to her. She was not cool. She tried to put on country on purpose. they all said something to her, to Kenya Moore, to try to make her realize her wrongdoing. But I think that there's a struggle in between those reality stars and the individual, who they are in real life. So in order for us to really look for and understand it and just really get ready for a real conflict resolution, they have to want to resolve the conflict within themselves first.
Yeah, to me, that's where responsibility comes into play. Like, we can't hold someone else responsible for something if we're not willing to be responsible ourselves. Denial is the number one thing that I
But what
see.
about the people that do reality TV that genuinely, the drama is there for ratings, but they're there to to build their own business with themselves? There's some people that, I'll do the drama because I need the publicity, because I want to wear a full face of makeup and a red mohawk and a certain amount of clothes every time they film me. And then afterwards, I want an investor to say, everyone's watching you, I'm going to invest in you and we're going to make a business out of it.
It
So if
can
it's-
be done in a glamorous, in a positive, in
This
an
is-
explosive, amazing way. That's what I want to start saying. Explosive doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. That's all. You know, I think we should curb that.
like the mindset of why you're doing reality TV. Some people want to be their own business. Some people, what if millionaires are already rich? They're already rich. So what if they're going to get more money? Some people aren't and go into it
But
to
I
create a
think
business.
that this persona takes over them. So this person that is on reality TV takes a whole new life, and they become that person, and they go, oh, I was just that person on television. I'm really this way at home. So
That
they
Yeah, that was exactly my next question.
Right.
Has the perception changed your personality, or does it change who you normally are? Because now this image is out there, and people feel a certain way about
They
how,
feel attached to what they see.
yeah.
And that's that person.
So does it force you to go and,
Well,
maybe,
for me, I didn't like go outside of my box too much. I stayed true to myself. But there are personalities out there who did certain things just to get that much more attention, and they thought it was funny. Even though it was harmful to the show and harmful to, the rest of the cast, they didn't care because it was just a character. So it's just a hard thing to do. Reality really isn't reality.
And they're glad that you said that, because that was in my little 2 cents, but considering the fact that you have participated in a reality TV show is that much more valuable. I think that if you put it on the platform to offer yourself as an individual, and the company says, okay, well, we'll take that, but we need you to add this or take out that.
Right.
And you accept that proposal, and then after a while, you continue to cut yourself more and more and more until you're no longer you anymore. You're who they wanted you to be.
Right.
I'm glad you said that.
well, I do want to take a turn, because another reason I enjoy reality TV is offline, I see so many women being able to be captains of industry. Gloria Govain would have been great to be here, because she's a good example of a young woman who took the platform, who was mostly positive on a very negative show. Mostly, a lot of negative stuff. When people bring up the negativity of reality TV, they tend to talk about basketball wives. And she took that and went into acting. It's a very successful online program. And what has reality TV, your participation in reality TV, done for your business?
Well, for one, it's obviously we've become more recognized, and we've got a lot of different people who have never even heard of our product. Getting on Shop NBC, getting on certain television shows, they would never even know who we were unless it was for the reality show, which is great. That's the reason why I got on there. I wanted to brand Rain Cosmetics,
Pick the good and the bad.
right? Unfortunately, they went too far back instead of really good. But we did get a lot of recognition for that, and I'm thankful for that. hands down, they did a great job as far as I'm concerned with what I wanted edited about myself and my business. They didn't tarnish me.